Hello, 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 hello. Hey,
What's going on, man?
man, sorry about that. I went to shut the door a second ago and I had to move my car outside of my garage and almost shut the garage door on the car. So,
Oh, you're good, dude.
little running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So what do we got going on today? Reason we are live. The main thing that I wanted to talk about was there is a massive Palestinian protest in, let me see, let me share. Hang on a sec.
I was just
We're going to
looking
do
at
this the
videos
right
of this.
way. I'm going to pull up some action. Yeah, it's apparently pretty large at the moment. So
It
let me
looks
pull up my
pretty
Twitter and
looks like it's pretty
share.
sizable
Let's see
right
how
now.
I do this here. We'll do that. Yeah, so one of my, let's see here. Do I do window? Chrome tab. Hang on. I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
StreamYard's always
Actually,
giving
I'm
you
gonna have to
problems,
do
isn't it, dude?
window. We'll share my whole window.
There you go.
Yeah, I got to get away from it. Okay, can you see my
Yeah, I
window,
can see it.
my Twitter window?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Well,
So,
right now I see
yeah,
I
there
see your
is.
StreamYard
So I
window.
have one of the guys that's. Uh-oh, that's not good. Oh yeah, I see
Whoa, what the
that. Hang on. Let
dude?
me try this.
Oh, dude, that was mirroring like 12
I
times.
took it away. Okay, let's try this again here. Bam. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, man. You know what? It's supposed to be really easy. I never had any issues with it. I got to get back to OBS. That's the problem. I've really got to get back to OBS. So
Yeah,
anyway, there's a
I
big
haven't
Palestinian
go ahead.
protest in Austin, and apparently it's at least 1,000. I'm hearing a couple of thousand big. Apparently, it's really, really big. I've seen some video of our state troopers. They are surrounding the Capitol. They have their riot gear on, and they have their gas grenades and such. Taylor Blount, which he is actually a Dash member now, he is down there with them, and he tells me that it is pretty peaceful. There's not a whole lot of anger and stuff going on. But my question is we are having I guess not a protest. It's more of like a vigil for the officer that was killed yesterday, and it's going to be a few blocks away from this protest. It worries me a little bit, I have to say.
Do you think it's going to clash?
You know, I don't know. I really don't think so. Taylor tells me that the people there, they're being very peaceful. They're not, they're not doing, the normal. What do you call? I'm trying to find nice way to say it. They're not doing the normal, the way they protest, tearing stuff up and pitching a fit.
Like
But it only
rioting and
takes a couple of
agitating kind of
agitators in a
stuff.
crowd to get a whole crowd moving. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
doesn't take
I was just
much.
looking at a video
I'm
and
trying to.
I think Taylor's assessment is pretty correct. Like I was just looking at a video and it just looks like a standard protest, looks peaceful. But I mean, I would
Mhm.
like to think that, a candlelight vigil is a candlelight vigil. Like, somebody dies, doesn't matter whether it's a cop, doesn't matter who it is. Like, a vigil is not a protest, it's not a counter protest or anything. So I would like to think that, nobody would really, try and counter that, like it's someone lost their life and people are going to pay their respects. As simple as that, right? I'd like to think that wouldn't happen. So
Yeah.
I'm going to assume it won't happen. Um, you know, uh, Going like based on everything right now, but it. I guess you never know. But the two things are kind of they're unrelated to one another too. That's another thing I was thinking. Like, I guess it would be good to be on your toes, but they are unrelated to
Yeah,
one
yeah,
another.
for
Like
sure.
one's, we're talking about two, not only different states, different cities, we're talking about different nations.
Yeah, and that's true, and but the thing that bothers me is, it doesn't take much to set off a crowd. You get a few
Yeah,
agitators. I mean, we've seen it for years. How that happens, where you get, like a Black Lives Matter protest, and it's peaceful, but there's a few people that join the crowd that start causing big time trouble. So it just bothers me. I mean, our city down here, I know you're up in Pittsburgh, and I appreciate you, coming on and talking with me about this, but our city down here is on edge right now, big time on edge. With the police officer that was shot and killed yesterday morning, he was
right.
liked by the city. He was a new cop. I mean, he had been, I think he was commissioned in like January of 2020, and he knew a lot of people, in the city. He was very, very well liked, and for a large city, that's kind of, that's hard, because you know he was SWAT team, he was color guard, he was on all of this stuff, and then he gets shot and killed, and we all know what's happening with the police department right now. How everybody, they're hundreds of officers short, but, it's gonna be alright. I'm telling you, it's gonna be alright. Bobby, tell everybody it's gonna be alright.
It's gonna be all right. It always is. It's always grass is always greener. Now, I mean, this stuff kind of, it's a sad situation. An officer
Yeah,
gets killed. It's, that unfortunately it becomes more and more common. But yeah, it's, today seems like from everything, from talking to you earlier and stuff, seems like it's a pretty tense day for Austin for a lot of reasons. But but I mean, hey, listen, it's hopefully everything just goes smooth. I you know,
they,
well, you froze up there, Jamie.
are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you
Bobby.
now. All right, we're good.
There you are. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm gonna stop jacking around with my settings. I'm cutting everything off, but, anyway, so, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kinda tense right now in the city, and, you've got a lot of people in this town. um I don't understand it because, since I started posting yesterday about this officer that was shot and killed, and then we found out last night what his name was, and we found out that a lot of people knew him.
Right.
And it's so sad because the politicians that were the architects, so to speak, behind this whole, police abolition movement that's happening down here right now. We have a few people that is well known in the city that really wants to get rid of the police, and I don't know how they figure that's going to work. I don't understand that just yet. I mean, you kind of have to have police, but people like Greg Caesar, he's a congressman. He led the charge, and then back in 2020, and after to get rid of to defund the police. Now they were refunded um, shortly thereafter, but the numbers never recovered, and to this day, there were so many people short that, yeah, you have officers like Jorge that goes out onto a call, and they're kind of by themselves, and then bad things like this happen.
So
And
tell me
people say,
again
"Well, how is it the
what exactly
politicians' fault?"
happened? Like what
Okay,
exactly
so
happened with this
this is kind of
situation here?
this is kind of preliminary, okay? There's not a whole lot of information that's really known, but apparently there was a 911 call that was made shortly after 3 a.m. Saturday morning. A lady started screaming that her husband was trying to kill her and her daughter, and apparently, from what I hear, now this is preliminary, this could change. The officer that was shot and killed, and the other officer that survived were um, were making entry into the house when this happened, and we're trying to save these people's lives when they were shot. Now, the as far as like the chain of events that led up to it, I'm not 100% certain, and I'm hearing rumblings that you know, we may not know because of certain reasons. I'm going to have more to say about that later, hopefully, but I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of details about it anytime soon. And there's a big reason for that. And I don't really want to get into it right now, but um, the intern chief, I think she put out as much information as she could put out. And it's just a sad thing. I know the wife, I believe the wife is dead. Um, I don't think the
Yeah.
daughter died. I think she survived. But man, I tell you what, it's just a, and then there was last night, there was an officer here in Austin that committed suicide,
That's way too
a
common,
female officer.
unfortunately. I mean, that happens all the time. That really does. That's something, I was watching an interview recently from with a police officer, and he was talking about how, and this could be an outdated statistic, I don't know, but in his words, he says that the number one killer of cops is suicide. And I mean, I haven't fact checked that, so don't
Yeah.
quote me, but I believe that it sounds about right. I mean, you figure
Yep.
you go out and you see a lot of crazy things, you see a lot of traumatizing things, and you go out and risk your life like that.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm not surprised by that. And talking about how he went through the academy and learned how to defend himself and do certain holds and how to do proper cuffing, blah blah blah, but he never learned about mentally taking care of himself. And I mean, I think that transcends police, right? Like that's military, that's police,
Yeah.
that's probably a lot of other first responders too.
Yeah, and that's an all too often thing that happens, with like soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. I know I've watched so many shows and I listen and follow so many of these soldiers that when they came back or they dealt with PTSD to the and like the culture was suck it up buttercup basically. You can make it through it.
Yeah.
And sadly, with police, it's the exact same thing. These police officers, they man, they deal with some really, really shitty situations, like last night or yesterday morning, a man trying to kill his wife and daughter. Seeing that kind of stuff happen, hearing these people scream and yell for help, and you try to do the best you can. Your officers are getting shot over it, and then on top of that, we have here in Austin going on right now. Chris Taylor, Officer Chris Taylor, is on trial for murder right now here in Austin. The jury is actually out deliberating right now, but not one person from the command staff from APD came out in support of him at all. And if you're an officer, your supervisors and managers, they're not supporting you. Our DA has, I forget how many cops it is and charged with crimes right now because of what they were doing, with their job. It goes all the way back to the 2020 George Floyd protest or riots. Um, I think it's like over 20 cops right now in Austin that has been indicted for, various crimes. And, it's all directly related to them wearing the badge and doing their jobs. So no wonder these cops are demoralized and not wanting to do this and they're walking away. You add on top of that, um, the police union. They wanted, they had been trying to negotiate a labor contract with the city for protections for them. And of course, this, there's a whole long story about that. But the city, they dropped the ball on that, and so the cops they don't have any protections right now from the labor union. And you add all that
Isn't that
together,
what unions are for? I mean, I have my own opinion
yeah,
of police unions, but like, isn't that what unions are for?
yeah. I mean, it gives them some kind of protections to do the job, and over the last year, there has been decade upon decade of police experience that's walked out the door. I used to work for the Collin County Sheriff's Department way, way back in the day. And I can tell you right now that young officers look up to the veterans. They learn from them, their
Yeah.
experience from, being on the street. They learn from them. They use that experience, and right now, most of your veterans, people that were able to retire, they retired. They're not gonna deal with it anymore. Why? After spending 20 years in the force, why put your, life and everything on the line? I could tell you I wouldn't do it. I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah.
be an Austin police officer for anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, who would want to be one? Nowadays, who would want to be a police officer? Like, I have several, police officers in my life, and my family, and whatnot. I mean, who would actually want to be one for what you have to do versus what you get paid and how you get treated nowadays? Who would want? Why would you want to be a cop? You have to want it for a bigger purpose. You have to care about. You're certainly not getting rich off of it, you know. And I always thought that, maybe there could be a happy medium here, but just like everything else, man, like there's no happy medium with anything political
There's
in
not.
in our country. There's just not. I mean, like, do we need police reform? Absolutely. There's absolutely bad cops out there. There's absolutely prejudice out there. There's absolutely things going on. But the answer is not to demonize an entire group of people. It's I mean, this goes back to why would you want to be a cop anymore? You have to want this for something bigger than you. You're not getting rich off of it. You're not
Yep.
getting clout from
Yeah.
it. It's you
Yep.
have to actually care at this point. So I
And
mean, it blows my mind, and God bless all the men and women that decide to do it for what are they making 50, 60,000 a year or something like that at this point,
yeah, not much. Not much.
because we need good cops. I mean, I don't care where you live, where you're from, what you do. We need good cops out there. We need good cops. Yeah, the people that live in the most crime-ridden areas want cops the most, want good cops
Yeah.
around the most because they're scared, because they don't wanna get
Yeah.
robbed. They don't want to worry about getting shot. They don't want their kids to have to limit where they're able to play at and things like that. You need good cops around. But whenever you have the incidences like this happen and you have police forces cut like they were in Austin, and you have them defunded, and then they got to get refunded, and you're completely discouraging any sort of positive morale to be a cop in a place like Austin. And then you have an officer go out and get killed for doing his job, like this incident here. I mean, who the hell wants to do that? Like, you're just creating a scenario for nobody to want to go apply. Who the hell would want to do that? It sounds like a shit gig.
Well, and the police officers that you want on your force, the cops that are actually out there to try to help people and try to do some good, and they are well trained. And regardless if people think so or not, if you're going to be a police officer, you need to be well trained. You need to know like hand to hand combat. You need to
Oh yeah.
know how to fight. If you don't, you're going to go to your gun each time, and that's going to be your first response is to go to the gun. You're not going to try to put hands on people. And so all of the cops that you want, the cops with integrity, the cops that are actually here to protect us and to serve us, they are going on to other departments. I know the Dallas Police Department actually held a job fair just for Austin police officers. They went to Dallas to work, where they're actually going to be respected. So yeah,
Right.
I don't know. I'm not saying that there's not any good cops here. That's not what I'm saying. But when you look at the decades upon decades of experience that walked out the door, and just this last year, it's amazing. It's amazing that I can call 911. Well, I'm not sitting in Austin right now, but if I was in Austin, I could call 911 right now. It may take 20 minutes to get them to answer. And that's a known fact here in Austin that if you need 911, you better have some time to wait. Because you tell me what could happen in 20 minutes while you're waiting on the hold for 911.
Everything, everything. I mean, you name it. 20 minutes is a lifetime whenever you're waiting for an emergency response.
It is a lifetime for sure. And, that's
Wow,
why I
20
carry
minutes.
every day. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. There's story after story after story over the last few months. We have hard, not only are the police understaffed, 911 is understaffed, dispatch is understaffed, everything is understaffed. And yeah, 20 minutes, like Saturday night, that the lady that called 911, her husband was stabbing her. If if you don't have the means to protect yourself, I don't know what you do, to be honest. You know, you need to go see Michael Cargill and learn how to shoot, get you a gun, and make sure you keep it on you. You know,
I
we
mean,
live in
I
Texas.
that's
Everybody's armed here, basically.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, it's in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of gun owners and whatnot, but not anywhere near Texas. The thing is, though, is like I recommend anybody that is, I don't understand why you wouldn't. If you're able to and willing and comfortable to carry a firearm, you should do that. You should be trained on a firearm. You should. I mean, I'm not going to go on a pro 2A rant here, but I mean, I kind of am. But like there's so much evil out in the world, and there's people. The bottom line is there's so much evil out in the world. There's so many situations that can happen that are bad. There are times where you're outnumbered. I don't care how big and how bad and how tough you are and everything like that. If you're a smaller guy or if you're a gal, or if you're older or something like that, that's going to give you the adequate ability to protect yourself and defend yourself against somebody that's, say,
Yes.
way bigger than you, or way more
Yeah.
physically capable than you, or maybe they're armed themselves, right? Everybody that is able to should be carrying a legal registered firearm to defend themselves. I don't care what anybody says. If you're not able to, if you have mental health issues, if you aren't comfortable around it, you shouldn't do it. You absolutely shouldn't.
Right.
Not everyone should have a gun in their hand, but if you're of a sound mind and you're able to and you're comfortable, you should.
Yeah, and, I don't know what the law is up in Pennsylvania where you're at right now, but here in Texas, we have constitutional carry. So if, you need to look at the law and make sure before you actually start carrying, but, you have the right to carry without a permit here. And, if you're not a felon and, you meet the requirements, you can carry. Now, would I recommend it? I wouldn't recommend anybody just go out and grab a gun and start carrying. You need to know how to, you need to know how to shoot it. You need to know how to handle it. You need to
Right.
know how to be safe with it. And I would recommend everyone, if you are going to carry, to get your license, your concealed carry license, because there's protections that come along with that license. There's also, other there's places you can carry with that gun that you with a license to carry. There's places you can carry with the license that you can't without the license. There's certain areas that are banned. So yeah, I mean, we have a Michael Cargill. I know I keep saying that, but he Michael is one of the biggest 2A supporters, and I think anywhere. He's got a case in front of the Supreme Court right now about the bump stocks, where it's basically, the case is about how the ATF is going and making administrative rules. So they're actually making laws by administrative findings, kind of like with the bump stocks where they banned them. There wasn't actually a law passed, but they just kind of added it onto another law. So that's what that I believe that's what the case that's in front of the Supreme Court is about with him. But yeah, man, if you have the ability to carry and you have a firearm and you know how to use it today, especially here in South Texas, man, you better be carrying it, because you get yourself into some trouble. There is no guarantee that you're going to call 911 and someone's going to answer. And I tell you what, man, when you
Right.
think about that, that's that's pretty damn scary to say that.
It's
And
very scary. It's so true, though. I mean, it's so
it
true. It's
is.
And even if you are able to get a hold of 911, what are the chances that if you're actively in a bad situation, what are the chances, like you said, especially down there where it takes 20 minutes, that you're going to be able to have 911 come there and rescue you before anything bad happens? Pretty slim to none. And here's the thing. I want to make this clear too. Ideally, you never, ever, ever have to use your firearm or even pull it out. Ideally, no bad situation
Yep.
ever happens to where, you shouldn't be going around wanting to have a situation. I feel like there's definitely people out there like that, and I don't like that at all. That people that are almost waiting for something to happen. They're almost wanting something to happen, that to where they have to pull out the firearm. I listen. I have my concealed carry, my PA concealed
Right.
carry. I can carry in Texas. I can carry, and I think 30 states recognize PA's concealed carry, and I've had it for a while. And I hope I never, ever in a million years have to pull my gun on anybody. I really do. I hope I never have to do it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to engage in violence.
Right.
The reason for having that firearm, and 4, keeping, concealed carrying is in case somebody decides to threaten your life, decides to be violent towards you in a way that you need to use that force against them. I mean, that's the reason you want to, you have it. But just like, almost
Yeah.
all cops that I've ever talked to, every cop I've ever talked to out there says the same thing too. They never want to have to discharge their weapon. They never do. I mean, I know cops that have had to discharge their weapon, and several of them are traumatized. They don't want to do that. They don't want to have to get in a situation. Who wants to get in a violent situation if you can avoid it? But I'd rather have it on me, and I'd rather be prepared for it than not.
Yeah, like I was judged. I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6 or something like that.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, I
and,
truly, truly,
and
truly agree.
it's scary. Computer. Yeah. So that, hang on, we're
You
gonna let
messing
this
with your
thing catch
settings
up real
again?
quick. I think I've screwed it. And I screwed up the stream again. Are you there?
Yeah.
Bobby. Okay, we're back. Me like you are such a dork.
Back and better than ever.
Quit messing. He's like, quit messing with your settings. Jesus, let everything catch up.
Oh, man. I hope everything goes smooth at, City Hall today.
There you
Like I said, oh, we're good again? StreamYard can piss off. I'm gonna say it right now. StreamYard can just piss right off.
hang on.
You're
Yeah,
gonna hear that in about 4 minutes with the
I think we're
delay.
back. I think it's the screen sharing that feature. Yeah, I think it's actually I think it's the when I go to share the screen, I think that's when it all just goes to piss.
Yeah. There's just
Let's let it
something with
catch
it,
up.
man, but it's like, is that what happens?
I think so. Okay. How are we doing here? It'd probably be better if I just called you. Hey, Bobby.
Honest to God. Honest to God, it would probably be faster.
So
What
anyway,
ti is
no, I know we've been. See, this is why I will never use StreamYard again. I will never
it
use
dude,
StreamYard
we can't
again
even have
because
a
of this reason.
conversation. We can't even
Exactly.
have a
I'm done.
conversation. It's the funniest thing. We both just
StreamYard StreamYard can just piss off, man. I'm done with it.
let's
I'm
get
going
this
back to
one in.
OBS.
We're streaming live with fucking dial-up internet connection here.
Yeah. I'm going back to OBS. This is just ridiculous. So, but anyway, we've been streaming here for a little over 30 minutes. It's almost 3. I have that event to get ready for tonight. I've got all my cameras over there getting all juiced up right now. I'm going to live stream it. I will not be live streaming it tonight from StreamYard. We'll be live streaming it from Streamlabs, I think is what I have on my phone. So that hopefully it'll work better. But
Yeah,
anyway,
hopefully,
Bobby, I
especially with
appreciate you.
tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and talking with us, man. I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk and let just kind of let everybody know that things are going to be okay, and um, Austin is a resilient city, and everything we're going to make it through it. You just got to have some hope. We have an election coming up that if you want to make changes, the election is where to do it, man. If you got to vote. You got to vote for what you think is right. Quit listening to people. Quit going with this tribal politics stuff. If you truly believe in what the left is doing, then vote for the left. If you truly believe what the right's doing, vote for the right. But you got to vote for what you want. Quit voting for the tribal shit.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Quit following the goddamn crowd. Quit it. Knock it off. You look
Yeah,
stupid. think
Look
for
what
yourself. Make your own decisions.
yeah, man, and I mean, look where it's gotten us. This it's so divided right now that Austin is such a divided city, and it's so sad to see because it's such a beautiful place and there's beautiful people here. And man, I tell you what, keep Austin weird as the motto. And I'll tell you what, it's really been weird lately.
Pretty
So,
damn weird. I will
anyway,
say that's
Bobby,
pretty damn weird.
I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for coming on. I'm gonna end this, and then, man, I'll tell you what. Actually, I would like to talk. You and I, are going to be doing some more streams where we're going to be talking about your previous experience in undercover journalism. I think you've got some stories that I want to drag out of you. Some really good stories that I think people would want to hear. You up to doing that?
Let's do it.
Perfect. All right, guys, appreciate it. I will see y'all tonight. I'm going to stream the memorial live tonight. That way, for you folks that can't actually make it out there, if you want to participate and watch and see what's going on, I'll be live with it. So if not, we will see you guys soon.